Today I'll be ranking every single AI tool I've tried so far, from agents to chatbots to integrated apps. By the way, this video is not sponsored by anyone, so all of my opinions are truly my personal opinions. So I've made a tier list of all the AI tools that I've worked with so far. As you can see over here, I put them into 3 groups: chatbots, integrated tools, and coding agents. And let's just get started with Gemini. Honestly, nowadays, Gemini has replaced ChatGPT to be my go-to chatbot for simple and small tasks. I see it as the librarian, but also the data scientist. AI hallucinate a lot, and usually when you ask it to search the internet, it gives you completely made up answers. But I think so far my experience with Gemini has been the best because since it's backed by Google, its search feature is strong, and when I ask for it to search something, it typically gives me pretty good results if it's ranked on Google or on YouTube videos. I also see it as a data scientist because it can run Python and other similar commands to draw cool visible graphs for me, but it's not a good one. Sometimes I have to explain myself for 5 to 10 times to fix a graph, and Gemini just can't do that. Given its pros and cons, I think I'm gonna put it at maybe a B for now. We'll see later. The next one I have on the list is Perplexity. My understanding of Perplexity was that it's a very scientific model compared to some of the other ones, so it's rigid in terms of its reasoning. I guess I was using it in the start of the year. Its features probably has already changed a lot by now. I was mainly using it to perform resume polishing. You could 100% tell that the resume that it polished is definitely written by an AI. So I deleted the app and never touched it ever since. We'll put it at a D. By the way, if you don't know me already, my name is April and I'm a 25-year-old software engineer living in Seattle, and in my channel, I document my journey to blend tech and creativity to build my dream life, one step at a time. So if you're interested in that, make sure to hit the subscribe button as I post weekly. But enough about me, let's move on to the next AI chatbot, which is Grok. Okay, I have a love-hate relationship with it. I've never tried Grok until yesterday when I was planning for this video, but before then, I've heard horror stories about Grok because my friend drives a Tesla and she's told me horror stories when her friends are trying to dirty talk with Grok on the car. When I was testing it yesterday, I was asking Grok what is their competitive edge against other AI chatbots, and this is how they packaged it. Maximum truth-seeking mode. I'm designed to be as truthful and uncensored as possible. So I've started my experimentation by talking to Grok about a genius startup idea that was also, at the same time, slightly unethical. I was asking for legal risk and regulation, and based on the conversation, I feel like it's not too crazy because the results that I have is pretty similar to some other AIs that I tested with. But then I tested the other feature, the dirty talk feature with Grok, and I don't think I can share it on YouTube. All I want to share with you guys is that apparently Grok is a man who has a deep voice and a cocky attitude. And I don't know, we'll just put it as a D. It kind of grossed me out a little bit. So let's move on to the next one, which is Claude. This is my favorite service and the only service that I actually pay a monthly fee for. However, I don't really use its chat feature as much, since one thing that I discovered about Claude is that it's very rigid. I kind of see Claude with the Sonnet model, which is the one that I use the most, as a reclusive artist who is also a little bit quirky and not scared of making you mad. So when I genuinely need something solved, or whenever I have questions related to YouTube, Claude is my go-to chatbot to get the question solved. However, if I'm seeking emotional support or mental comfort by talking to a chatbot, some of the other models have a better job doing that. But given the fact that I would actually pay for this service, I will put it at an A for now. Alright, let's move on to the last chatbot, which is the OG chatbot, ChatGPT. I have a love-hate relationship with ChatGPT. I feel like maybe initially it was the branding that started losing me a little bit, because on one hand, I really enjoy the UI of Claude. The serif font and the warm tone background makes me feel like it's the Hinge of chatbots, whereas given how popular ChatGPT was, it's giving more Tinder vibes, if that even makes sense. I really enjoy how ChatGPT gives you a lot of emotional support, even though at the same time, it's not the best at telling the truth. Right now, I rarely use ChatGPT for everyday conversations anymore. Gemini has pretty much replaced it. One thing that I exclusively only use ChatGPT for is for image generation. Based on my experimentation, I think ChatGPT has the best best quality image that is also the most aligned to the vibes that I was looking for in the first place. And I can't find anything to replace it yet for that feature. So given the complex emotions I have for ChatGPT, I would probably put it at a B for now. And that is the end of all of the chatbots that I have on the list. Next up, we'll be moving to comprehensive AI apps. So these apps do a variety of jobs. They generate music, write reports, build apps. However, they do not include the coding agents. The first one I wanted to talk about is Suno. Oh my god, this one is gonna be such a controversial one. I'm gonna get so much hate for this, but I really like Suno. In case you don't know what it is, Suno is a music generation app, so you could literally create a 3-4 minute music by typing a prompt of what is the vibe that you're looking for. And just a couple days ago, I also tried out Suno for the first time. I was looking for something like kind of like Lefe vibe, which is like coffee house music, bossa nova, probably has some jazz elements to it. And when I first heard Suno's creation, I was completely shook at how good it was. They actually created a song that I would listen to.
Morning light on the window pane, bare feet dancing through the quiet rain. It feels like summer in my chest, a little breeze, a little rest.
If you're telling me that I would be listening to AI slop even like a month ago, I would not believe you. But at the same time, I think Suno is getting a lot of hate from a lot of different parties, mainly for the music streamers and the artists, because a lot of people are using Suno to batch create AI music, putting it on Spotify to try to gain some AdSense revenue. Because they can create music so fast, they could start to quickly pollute the Spotify music database. And that would mean that traditional artists who create music by hand are having their rights infringed. On top of that, one of the older models of Suno was trained using copyrighted content, so it used to have problem with copyright infringement as well. However, based on the news that I read, I'm pretty sure that they've settled, and Suno now has a latest model version that is not trained on copyrighted material anymore. I do understand why people have so much hate towards Suno, but then at the same time, I started finding a really good use case for Suno. I personally don't really have the need to generate music at this moment, but when I want a specific vibe, I want to continue listening to that vibe of the music without you changing me into a different genre. And that's why I blame all the music algorithms, because whenever I turn on radio, it slowly mutates its cue into a genre that I don't want to be listening anymore. Plus, I feel like for Spotify, for some reason, I'm always listening to the same music over and over again, and it doesn't allow me to discover new music that I might like. I feel like Suno so far is the best at understanding my taste and giving me music that I actually like, even though those music are created by AI. Since I don't pay any money on any music streaming services, I have to listen to ads for Spotify or YouTube Music, so Suno is the only way that I could listen to music without ad interruptions. So this might be controversial, but I'm going to give it an A. I feel so bad saying that, but I really like using it. Enough spiel about Suno. Most of you probably don't know the next one, which is Amazon Quick. It is an Amazon service that was rebranded from Amazon Quick Suite from Amazon Quick Site. The rebranding here is crazy, and the only reason I started using it was because I use it at work. But it is a generally available app, and you could definitely try to use it if you're interested in it. I personally find two main features to be pretty helpful. One is it has Slack Digest, so you can create integrations that summarizes all of your emails, messages, creates a to-do list for you every single day in the morning, so you start the day with a good understanding of what needs to be done. And the other feature I really like about Amazon Quick is its research capabilities. You could give a very specific research topic for Quick Suite to run a literature review online against all the articles and formulate a research paper for you. So if I have a topic that I'm not well versed in and I would like an in-depth research, I really like using that feature in Amazon Quick. However, as for other features, I currently don't see a use case for. So I would rank it as a B because I feel like some of its other integrations are not the best yet. The next one on the list is Notion AI. Even though I'm an avid user of Notion, I actually don't really use Notion AI because I find Claude to be the GOAT for agentic workflows, and Claude's agents are able to handle tasks such as reading from Notion and writing to Notion. So even though Notion has its built-in integration, I feel like Claude has more context about what I have, so I've never never tried it. And since I've not tried it, I'll just put it at the C for now. All right, the next one, the last one for this section is Space 44. The only reason I started trying it is because I saw so many YouTube ads about it. So I tried to use Space 44 to create a movie recommendation app for me. However, I feel like the quality is a little bit below my expectations since I am a software engineer. So if I build an app, I want to have my own database system and my own cron jobs, but it seems like Base 44 doesn't support that because you can only build databases inside their cloud and you can't really create any event bridge or schedule jobs for an app that you built in Base 44. I can see that the best customers for Base 44 is probably people who want a containerized app that doesn't require web scraping or connecting to other people. However, if I were to build an app, I think a social feature is pretty important for me. I would want my friends to be able to use it and we can interact via the app. So as of right now, I don't think Base 44 satisfies my needs in terms of an app building tool. So even though it is very convenient, I would still probably resort to the AI coding agents to help me build an app if I really need it. So given that, I would rank it a C. I can see the potentials in it. Okay, now we're down to the final three, which I categorize them as AI coding agents. The first one, openclaw. The hype for openclaw was so big. However, I didn't hop on the trend because I don't really see how I could integrate with openclaw, because initially I thought that you have to have a Mac mini that is constantly running to be able to use openclaw, and I don't have a PC. I only have laptops and I bring them everywhere, so I thought that openclaw might not be the best fit for me. However, that seems like to be so far from the truth because it seems like I could still run from my laptop, use my boyfriend's PC, or even call it from the cloud if I want to. As of right now though, I don't see a really good use case for it, so I haven't tried openclaw yet. I'll just put it as a C for now. I promise I'll get to it. So let me know in the comments if you'd like an update on this tier list maybe a month or two from now. Next up is Kiro. I also got to know Kiro because it was the only coding agent available to us internally at Amazon for a while, so I used it extensively at work. Kiro is based on Claude's models, so you have access to Sonnet, Haiku, and Opus models, and personally, I think Kiro with Opus is a very good combination for writing code at work. What I really enjoy, which is a special feature that is only in Kiro, nowhere else, is their agent SOP feature. Agents, like chatbots, tend to hallucinate a lot, and sometimes when you write an SOP for them, for some reason it's really hard for them to actually follow through everything. I'm not super sure what's going on under the hood, but for Kiro, if you trigger an agent SOP, it typically follows the SOP pretty rigidly and doesn't really drift a lot from what we want them to do. So I thought that was really helpful. And I personally really enjoy Kiro and I still use it at work. So I would put it at an A. Now we're at the last one, which is Claude Code. I don't know if it's just me, but I really like this icon over here. My heart lights up every time I see it from the CLI. I heard from a podcast where they say Claude Code reminds them of Rocky from Project Hail Mary, and I thought that was such an accurate description. They're able to create things at a pace that is so fast. Enough rambling. I really like Claude. As I already said, that is the only paying service that I have. I find skills to be such a lifesaver when it comes to automating a lot of the stuff. And I think that Anthropic also does a really good job at creating concepts so that other people can also adopt the same model. At the same time though, I don't really support the company wholeheartedly because I feel like there's a couple ethics related news that I saw lately that is very concerning for me. And I'll create a separate video solely on AI ethics if you're interested. But if I don't care about the ethics and only look at the skill sets that Claude Code is able to do, I really think that it's the strongest app I've used, because while Kiro is specifically good for a coding agent, I started using Claude Code for everything. For example, a couple weeks ago, I shared my AI editing agent, which integrates with Claude Code, and I do 50% of my editing via Claude Code nowadays. On top of that, I have no background in video graphics, After Effects, none of that. And in my last video, which was a cruising vlog, I was able to use Claude Code to generate a full-on motion graphic that I used in my video. So I really think the power of Claude Code is kind of scary. I would definitely put it as the single S tier in this video. So that is pretty much it for the tier list. Let me see if I want to make some adjustments. Thinking back about the use cases for Grok makes me kind of sick, so I'll put that as an F. The only thing I like is its logo. I think it's a cool logo, but it's gonna go to an F. And that's pretty much it for this tier list. Let me know what tools that I should try next. Since I really enjoy building things, I also want to start a process where I build AI agents to to help me live my life a little bit easier. So that's gonna be something that's coming up. I'm still in the process of doing that. But in the meantime, if you're curious to see how I use Claude to build my AI editing agent, I'll have the video linked over here. And I'll see you next week. Bye!